Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Sorry for having to do two videos on what's usually simple cutting boards, but these are a little bit more intricate and there's just a lot to them, so I didn't want one great big long video. So anyways, the idea behind these boards is to use up shop scrap. So the maple I did buy because I didn't have enough of that in the shop, but all of the edge guide pieces, which we'll use a little bit later, is all left over. The cherry was left over from the little end table I built in the living room, and the walnut is left over from the other big end tables. All the strips that I've cut, and I'll show you these in just a minute, again leftover walnut and padauk that I just happen to have in the shop. So I don't know if we'll use the padauk or not. I'll do at least one with the padauk in it so you can see it. But yeah, so let's get on. We're going to make these wavy cutting boards. So they're going to have a wavy line that goes through them. So let me reposition the camera and I'll show you what we're doing. Okay, so I have this template because I've made lots of these over my time. So I just have this template that hangs on the wall and it gets used quite often. So the first thing we need to do is kind of identify where I want that wavy line. And it doesn't matter, it's all a personal choice. That looks pretty good to me. So all I'm going to do is just mark that line on there. And then we'll take this to the bandsaw and we'll cut that out. Now if I don't stay dead on the line, that's okay. I'm more concerned on the bandsaw with just a smooth, consistent cut, because then I don't have to clean up the edge. I can just go straight to glue up. So I'll get these marked out and I'll see you at the bandsaw. Okay, now that we got our two halves, all we're going to do is drop a strip in here, glue it up, and let it sit for a few hours. One down, 4 to go. So that's about as tight a shot as I can get on this board and still keep it all in. This is where I was saying if you make a nice, smooth, consistent cut on the bandsaw, you don't have to go back with a router and trim that up and clean it up. And then the side clamp that you see on there, that helps me align everything to keep my lines in order. So in the end, if the ends are off from one side to the other, that's okay because we're still long on the cutting board, so we can trim that off. That's another reason we gave an extra 2 inches up front. So we'll let this cure up. I'll get the other 4 done and let it sit for a few hours. Okay, there's all 5 glued up. I'll let those cure up for a while, then we'll come back and clean those strips up. Being though it's the wavy line and all that, I am going to give these a little bit longer to cure. And then maybe we'll come back and add a second strip in a couple of these. Okay, got it out of clamps, scraped all the glue off. Now all I'm going to do is just use a block plane to trim this down close to the height of the surface. Okay, so next up, I'm going to figure out exactly where I want my second padauk stripe to go. And again, it's all just a preference thing. That looks like a good spot. Now just like before, I'm going to go back to the bandsaw. I'm going to cut that out. glue it up just like we did for the first one. And there we go. One down, 4 to go. Okay, so that makes the 4th glue up on those 5 cutting boards. Got one more glue up to do. We got to put the side pieces on, and then we'll start getting them flat and getting them ready for finish. Okay, got it out of clamps, looking good. Just use the flush trim saw to cut those long ends off. We're ready to go ahead and put our side strips on, but we need to get these 2 edges really flat first so we have a good glue surface. So I'm going to switch the camera position. We're going to go over to the table saw and the sled, and we're just going to get this squared up. Okay, all we're going to do is glue these strips on and let it cure. One down, 4 to go. Okay, there's the edges glued on all 5. Let those cure up for a couple hours. We'll trim the ends and start flattening. Okay, just got to square off the ends. Okay, time for finish. We're going to go with General Finish's salad bowl finish on these. It's my favorite for the cutting boards, it really is. Makes the grain pop a little better than regular mineral oil. So let's get to it. Well, there you go, guys. Nice end grain cutting boards make wonderful gifts any time of year, not just during Christmas. End grain is better for knives, and there's a little more work to them, but I think they're worth it. So until the next project, guys, take care.